This is Debra Atkinson, host of the Flipping 50 TV show and the podcast. And this is your early morning wake-up call to why morning exercise may not be your best friend, at least first thing in the morning. So instead of what you might have once been taught when you're lying in your bed to bring one knee at a time up towards your chest and then both knees up at a time, we're recommending that actually for your back and your spine, you don't do that. Because here's what happens. If you're doing this kind of a movement, you're actually putting a lot of pressure on your spine, even though it may not feel like it, and even though it may feel good. So I want you to think about an addict, someone who's addicted to cocaine. The actual thing that is the fix that they feel like they need is also the cause of the problem. And so it is with you. This can feel like it's relieving the pain, but can then actually contribute to the need to do it again and want to do it tomorrow because you're making the problem worse or prolonging it instead of helping it get better. So instead of doing this, at least during that first hour after you wake or first thing before you even move, lying in your bed, and if you are waking up with that little bit of stiffness, realize it's related to the plumping of those discs, kind of creating more pressure between your vertebrae, or that intervertebral pressure that occurs. So instead of stretching, even though you feel like you need to loosen up just a little bit, just try tensing and releasing. So think about just a long stretch. Inhale, get length all the way down. So kind of squeezing and releasing, and where you can rotate your hands and rotate your ankles around. Squeeze and then release your thighs and your quadriceps. Take your arms, reach, stretch above your head and relax those, and then gradually bend your knees, rotate to the side, push yourself up this way to get up and out of bed so that you can rotate and lift yourself up and out of bed with less stress on your spine, because that is one of the things that makes getting up most difficult. And if you have to hop out of bed to take care of the puppy, right, just let him be a little bit more patient and wait for you until you're ready. Let me show you that when you take the load off of the spine, then it becomes a much safer exercise. So what I just showed you is lying on your bed, pulling your knees up to your chest. Not a great choice, but if you turn over and you're on all fours, and for those of you who can't kneel, I've got you covered, hang in there with me. But you're going to start on all fours if you can. And what you're going to do is just simply load this way. Take the crown of your head down, your tailbone down. You're creating a small inverted U. And then inhale and come back and forth. Now, there's no load on the spine. The only thing that's indicating the movement is the core, and press through the hands and lifting up and coming back. So in this low load type of exercise, this may help you get a little bit more movement back into the spine. So earlier in your day, this would be an appropriate thing to do, but you don't want to, for instance, do one of these. Downward facing dog. Now this is going to be a little bit different in that you're flexing pretty dramatically here in your lower back. Now, depending on your mobility, if your hips are very mobile, your bend may happen here, but many of us are going to have some flexion in the spine. And now we're doing some weight bearing. So this is even not ideal. So you've really got to be careful and be selective about the exercises that you're going to do. For those of you that can't kneel, and your knees just won't tolerate that, that's okay. You can still create an all fours approach. So you can, and I'm using a ball because it happened to be handy. The ball is not the key. You can use your hands on an ottoman or a chair. So something that actually puts your hands at about knee height, so you can bring your back into parallel to the floor position. This is actually a little bit higher than I would want. But what it's going to let you do is recreate the position of hands and knees on the floor so that you can do your cat-cow back with much more comfortable knees. So there's no reason to actually be down on the floor. You're going to still be able to create that low load, flexion and extension, and still do it safely. So there's your fix. One of of the biggest challenges with understanding or abiding by and complying with this safety factor in the morning within that first hour is we cannot feel the damage that we're doing until it's too late. So that pressure in there may feel like it's stiff and it's telling you you need to stretch, you need to move, and then you'll feel better. But the actuality is, until gravity does its job simply by you being upright, whether that's with a journal, a cup of tea, or hot lemon water, or you like me, like your coffee, gravity will take care of it during that first hour. Nothing can accelerate that. And within about an hour, 90% of that extra fluid and pressure dissipates, and you're much more safe to exercise the rest of the day. So keep all those tips in mind and let me know if that was helpful. I'll see you on the flip side.